Hi, my name is Raegan. For my fourth book review, I chose to highlight the book Dinothosaurus by Douglas Florian. This is a book with a collection of poems describing different species of dinosaurs. Besides the factual information about dinosaurs, the book also includes features such as pronunciation guide, definition for each dinosaur's name, and a glossary that explains what each poem is about. There are also resources for dinosaur museums, fossil sites, and further reading. Each page was filled with beautiful illustrations that went along with the poems. They would help students visualize the dinosaurs while learning about them. I enjoyed the poems, and they did a good job of explaining the dinosaurs in a fun, engaging way. This will be a great book to introduce poetry to young students and get them interested in it. For a science lesson, I would have my students discuss the traits of dinosaurs and name a few species. They will discuss in pairs, and some will be asked to share their thoughts with the class. Next, each student will individually create a clip-to-my scrapbook based on one dinosaur. The project should include a title, the student's name, a dinosaur, and at least 5 facts about the dinosaur with pictures and clip art images. I have provided an example of a project on a Tyrannosaurus Rex that I have created using clip-to-mice. For an English lesson, I would have my students discuss different species of dinosaurs and choose which is their favorite kind. The students would then research that dinosaur and create a poem like the one from the story. The poem would be a limerick, and it should contain facts and follow the guidelines on poetrygames.org. After the poems are finished, students will find an image of their dinosaur and create a blabberized video. They will upload the image, outline its mouth, and record themselves reading the poems. In the finished product, it will look like the dinosaur is reading the poem. I provide an example of a limerick that I have created and an example of a finished product on Blabberize. The other 4 books I read were Song of the Water Boatman and Other Pond Poems, A Light in the Attic, Henry's Freedom Box, and Dark Emperor and Other Poems of the Night. Song of the Water Boatman and Other Pond Poems by Joyce Sidman is a book of 11 poems and short paragraphs that describe the ecosystem of a pond. You learn about different species that live in the pond and how they relate to each other through the poems. The illustrations were bright and vibrant and went along with the story beautifully. Both the illustrations and the poetry did a good job of telling a cohesive story. A Light in the Attic by Shel Silverstein is a collection of poems ranging in variety. The poems are accompanied by illustrations that go well together. I enjoyed the poems, and I think that each student comes to find a few that they like because there are so many to choose from. This could be used to introduce poetry to students and help them relate it to their own lives. Henry's Freedom Box by Ellen Levine is the story of a slave who mails himself to freedom. He has always dreamed of freedom, but his dream seems to slip away when his family is torn apart and he is forced to work in a warehouse. This story shows hope, determination, and never giving up. These are strong messages that should be introduced to students. This story could be used to introduce students to the history of slavery and show students how important and precious our freedom is. I really liked this story and its messages. The last book I read was Dark Emperor and Other Poems of the Night by Joyce Sidman. This is a collection of poems about animals that are active at night. There are 12 poems, and each one is accompanied by an illustration of the environment it describes. On the sides of the pages, there is information about the animals in the poems. The poems are educational and engaging because they give information about animals and nature through art. The illustrations go along with the text and will help students have a better understanding of the poem. This is a great book for students. That's all for my third book review. Thanks for watching.